Hello, everybody. Welcome to Temples of Transformation, the Mystery School and your 2021 Initiatory Path. I'm Jocelyn Mercado, the founder of Sacred Planet, and I'm here with Ver de Luz Celestial.
Welcome, everyone. So excited to be with you again here today. Oh, I can't wait for this presentation. So hope you can settle in and get ready to be rocked.
Yes, we have so much in store for you today. So as you're joining, go ahead and put your name and location in the chat. I'd love to see where everybody is zooming in from today. Welcome, Jen. Welcome, Jaguar.
Ooh.
Welcome, Miriam. Autumn. Yes, the animals are already showing up. We're going to see lots more animals today, everybody. Don't worry.
Now we have Cape Town and Brooklyn.
Welcome, Jordan, Jill, Shannon, Hannah, Adrian. Wow, so many. Welcome, Erhard, BZ, Deb, Angelica. Wonderful to see you all here. Hi, Lauren Rose. Hi, Monique. Hi, Teresa. Yay. Well, we are super excited to begin today, everybody. And we're going to get started by going in really deeply right away. So I want to just say, please be sure to turn off all distractions. Close the other tabs on your computer, close the door to the room, turn off your phone, really settle in. Because this is meant to be an extremely deep, potent journey today, multiple journeys today. So really settle in, get comfortable, definitely have a journal or a notebook nearby. You might want to take some notes or write down what's coming through for you. And as I said, we're going to go deep right away. So let me share this incredibly ancient image with you here to begin. So we know from historical evidence that there were shamans deep inside of caves in France, performing rituals based on bears and bear skulls as far back as 75,000 years ago. And we have found the bear skulls hermetically sealed within the cave walls. So we know that this long ago, we as human beings were celebrating sacred ceremony to connect in with the unseen realms and to ask the divine, creator, source, as well as the animal spirits for help and guidance. Now this bear painting that you see here is 32,000 years old, and it's on the walls of France's Chauveau cave. And this cave is also painted with lions and hyenas. These may be some of the oldest paintings in the world. Now caves are the womb of Mother Earth. This is how the ancient people saw the caves. This is how they experienced them. And these caves were the sacred place where the ultimate healing, the ultimate visioning, and the ultimate shamanic work could be done. People would crawl through extremely narrow passageways in the caves with no light or almost no light at all. They would traverse cliff ledges in the darkness to reach hidden inner chambers where their ceremonies and rituals would be held. And so these were perhaps the very first mystery schools, very likely the first mystery schools, where the people would undergo an initiation of traveling through the caves in the darkness just to reach the inner sanctum. And once inside, a shaman would guide them through a ritual to open them up to the great mystery. Now, I'm going to share a different image with you. If we journey to ancient Greece, and here we have the Greek goddess Demeter, or Ceres. So in ancient Greece, we can see and explore another mystery school, the Eleusinian Mystery School. Now this was a rite or a ceremony that was observed regularly at least as far back as 1600 BC and was celebrated almost up until 400 current era. And so the Eleusinian mystery rites took place every year, commemorating the search of the goddess Demeter, who we see here, searching for her missing daughter Persephone. Now, no one knows with absolute certainty exactly what happened in these rites, but we know they involved the participant going into an underground cavern or structure to drink the kykeon, the sacred drink, and then they would undergo death and rebirth. And so this experience was said to free the participant from fear of mortality. These rites were undergone by great philosophers and influential figures, including Plato, Plutarch, Cicero, Aristotle, many playwrights, and many priests and priestesses of that time. And the initiates were sworn to secrecy, but some of them spoke up and some of them made written accounts of what they experienced. So here's one that we can access. So Plutarch wrote, "Because of those sacred and faithful promises given in the mysteries, we hold it firmly for an undoubted truth that our soul is incorruptible and immortal. Let us behave ourselves accordingly. When a man dies, he is like those who are initiated into the mysteries. Our whole life is a journey by tortuous ways without outlet. At the moment of quitting it come terror, shuddering fear, but then amazement, then a light that moves to meet you, pure meadows that receive you, songs and dances and holy apparitions." And Cicero wrote, "Nothing is higher than these mysteries. They have not only shown us how to live joyfully, but they have taught us how to die with a better hope." Now, there were plenty of other mystery schools, of course, in ancient times, 4,000, 5,000 years ago or more, and leading up to the current era, in Egypt, in India, in the Americas, in many other places. And all of these mystery schools brought the initiates, those who were initiated into the teachings, to the same understanding, which is a very profound and life-changing one. That is the understanding that we are immortal. We do not die. So this is not to say that our human bodies in this form live forever, right? But it's to say that death is not the end. We only change form. We only take on different energetic structures. And so death is never the end. So now it is your turn to journey into the ancient rites and to be initiated. So as you journey today in this first of two journeys that we're going to share with you, I'm going to give you a link to go to this particular song in Celestial's album on Bandcamp. So go ahead and open that up in a separate tab and just pause it and have it ready to go, because I'm going to give you a little bit of instructions first before you begin your journey. And I'm going to share with you this powerful cave image. So as you're getting ready for this journey, get really comfortable. If you want to lay down, that's fine. If you want to be sitting up with your spine straight, or even if you want to be moving about and really allow it to be a shamanic embodied experience, that's wonderful. And so you can either close your eyes or you can gaze lightly at this cave image. And you're going to follow my guidance at the beginning. And then when I stop speaking, just allow the music to take you, allow it to carry you into your own initiatory experience. Now, whatever comes up for you as you are journeying, really trust this, because whatever comes up for you is going to be coming from your initiatory experiences of the past, whether that is from your ancestral lineage, from your past lives, or even from things you've been through in this lifetime. It's going to come from your knowledge of the earth, your knowledge of the stars. So really trust whatever shows up for you in your journey. Okay, so go ahead and push play on the music and just make sure that you can hear my voice over top of the music. And close your eyes or gaze lightly at this image and allow yourself to begin sinking down, your awareness sinking out of your thinking mind into the core of your being and really connecting in with your soul at the center of you. Now, imagine yourself standing on the earth, barefoot, peering into a large cave opening. And call to your side a guide, Now, this may be an ancient god or goddess to guide you today. It may be a power animal. It may be an angel. Trust the guide that shows up for you. And as you look into the cave entrance, you notice that there is a plant growing on the ground just before the entrance to the cave. And as you look closer at this plant, you notice that it is glowing. What kind of a plant is it? Tap into your ancient knowledge to find out. Now you know you must pluck some of this plant, maybe a leaf, maybe a flower. So go ahead and take part of the plant with you, hold it in your hand, and enter into the cave along with your guide. As soon as you begin walking in the cave, it becomes very dark. And you remember from somewhere deep in your ancestral memories that all of the deepest healing happens in the dark. The deepest healing occurs when we are dreaming, or at the new moon, or when we uncover the shadows of our psyche. So walk forward deeper and deeper into the cave, trusting your guide to lead you safely. This darkness, it's so obscure. There is no light coming in at all. Yet somehow, shapes and images are appearing before you. What do you see? Is there an animal here? Do you see your ancestors? Do you see sacred objects here within the cave? Now, in a moment, I'm going to stop speaking, and the invitation is for you to continue venturing deeper and deeper into this cave. And far inside, you will find a ceremonial space prepared for you. When you reach that space, go ahead and eat the plant that you plucked from the entrance to the cave and allow the mysteries to be revealed to you. So go ahead now and see what the darkness wishes to share with you. Now it is time to come back. It is time to gather up this experience within your heart, to gather up any sacred objects you wish to bring back with you from your ceremony. Make your way back through the cave with your guide, back to the entrance of the cave. And at the entrance there, thank Mother Earth for this gift today, and thank the sacred plant that still stands there at the entrance of the cave. And thank your guide for traveling with you today. And when you're ready, begin to return to the present moment, returning to your body and the here and now. Take a deep breath in, breathing in, filling your lungs up all the way with the oxygen and the magic that continually surround us. And then exhaling fully, emptying your lungs, coming back. Open your eyes when you're ready. Now you're welcome to share in the chat about your experience here in this journey. And definitely be sure to write down in your journal or your notebook anything important that may have come through. Whenever we journey like this, we're very deep in the dream space. And so we want to be sure to write things down so they don't get lost, so they won't be drifting away into the unseen realms. Now, I want to share with you another image here. So what you experienced here in this journey is very much connected with the heart. The heart is this exquisite organ of perception that is much more than just a physical organ. It's much more than just a pump for circulation, as medical science has thought for many eons. Now, the ancient Egyptians had a tremendously accurate perception of the heart. And the ancient Egyptians were considered the premier in medical science in the ancient world. The Greek doctors went to Egypt to be trained. And so to the ancient Egyptians, the heart was the center of thought, emotion, an organ of such importance that it was thought necessary to salvation after death. And so the heart was actually the only organ, the only major organ that was left in the body at the time of mummification, because the Egyptians believed that the heart needed to stay in the body to ensure its availability at judgment and during the afterlife. The heart was thought capable of recording all the good and evil acts performed by a human being during life. So in ancient Egypt, when you died, your soul was seated in the heart. And then during the judgment of the dead, and that is what we see in this scene here, in this image, one's heart was weighed against the feather of Ma'at. So we have Anubis here, we have Thoth over here on the side. This is the feather of Ma'at, and this is the person's heart being weighed. And this here is the Ba. This is an aspect of the person's soul that is going to be able to fly away and be free if the heart is as light as the feather. Now, in more modern times, medical science is catching up with this. So for example, there's a Dr. Thomas Cowan. He's written an incredible book called Human Heart, Cosmic Heart. And he says that it is as if the heart has antennas that reach out and up and can connect in to the cosmos and can connect into the vast intelligence of all that is the cosmos and the earth. And so it is so much more than just a pump, right? This beautiful heart that we have. Now the heart leads us to connect with our guides. The heart carries information not only from our DNA and our past lineages and from our soul and past lives, but it also can access the vast intelligence of the earth and the cosmos. And so we must depend upon our hearts to find the truth. We must depend upon our hearts to lead us to our guides, to help us remember these past life memories that are so important for us. Now, I personally, I sometimes have heart palpitations. This is something that's been happening to me really all my life. And what I have found more recently as I've really tuned into this is that it's very often linked to when I have had a really important dream in the middle of the night, or when I am receiving downloads from the stars or downloads from my guides. And so I have a guide that I will share with you all. His name is Igor. It's a funny name, but I asked him about this name one time and I said, "Is that really your name?" And he said, "Well, it's not, but you could never pronounce my real name, so this is what you can call me, Igor." And so one time he was comforting me and he was telling me, it's okay. It's okay that you have these heart palpitations sometimes. He said, the thing is that you have a Scorpio heart. It feels so much. And it is connected to so many other realms and other dimensions. And it is receiving from those other realms and other dimensions. So don't worry, it's okay. It's okay, your heart is very healthy. So my moon sign is Scorpio. And it was very interesting to hear this, right? That I have a Scorpio heart. So this is really important. And I share this with all of you because I really invite you in this call today and always going forward to really be connected in with your heart, to connect with your guides and ask them, what do I need to know about my heart? Even when the information seems to be coming from, not making a lot of sense, right? Or coming from a really far away place, we need to trust that. We need to trust that it's coming from the heart. And I have a funny story that Verdeluz and I wanted to share with you. We were recently in a very deep journeying space together, and we got a message in the middle of this. We were talking about Igor. We were talking about this message from Igor about my heart. And what happened was on the TV flashed this message of, it was like a show that was, available. And it was that Igor travels the world, right? So then when we tune into our heart, when we listen to these messages, even when they don't make any sense sometimes, and then we allow the synchronicities to occur, right? And we look for the signs, we get these miraculous messages. So we got this message, Igor travels the world. It was a really, really beautiful moment. Now there's another piece here that's very important. And I want to share this with you next as really a golden thread, a through line for us to follow as we're tapping into the mysteries, as we're tapping into these temples of transformation. And that is the symbolism of the serpent, okay? The serpent is a golden thread. It is a through line for us to follow because the serpent was recognized as a representation of the divine feminine, the creative life force within us, or the kundalini, healing powers, magical powers, and immortality since the beginning of time. Now this image here is the actual type of snake that would be allowed to wander around in the Asclepion, the ancient healing temples in ancient times. This is actually the exact kind of snake that they had there. So essentially, the serpent is a guide for us that winds through all of the mysteries, going back as far back in ancient times as we can, all the way through to today. And as you probably are aware, the serpent imagery shows up in so many different ways, in so many different forms, all throughout history. But what it's guiding us back to every single time is this divine feminine, the magical force, the creative life force within us, and even immortality. Now, did you know that not only DNA has the spiral, the double spiral or double helix form of double intertwined snakes, but also the umbilical cord that attaches the baby to its mother and through which the baby receives sustenance is in this double helix form of the double serpent as well. So this serpentine structure is literally sculpted into our physical architecture. This is extremely important for us. If we go as far back as 5000 BC, in the Neolithic era, there is a huge, tremendous amount of serpent imagery, but just one to share with you is the serpent mother goddess sculpture. Now this is an enthroned goddess and a child where the The child is wrapped in the arms of the mother, and snakes are coiling over the bodies of the goddess and the child. And here's another image of a serpent goddess that I'll share with you. So this is the Minoan snake goddess from ancient Crete. You can see she's quite an imposing figure here. And so in Minoan Crete, snakes and spirals, which the spirals are always the snake in abstract form, are wound around vases and sculptures. They are coiling over pregnant bellies, buttocks, and phalluses in the sculptures, or they're undulating between the moon, stars, sun, and rain. And so this image of the serpent represents the dynamic principle of life energy that never runs out. And this brings us back to immortality. Now, one other place, there's many others I could share, but one other place I'll share with you where we see the snake is in the form of the caduceus. Now, this is the ultimate symbol of alchemy. It is the scepter held by Asclepius and Hermes. It is the symbol of the Kundalini life force that rises through our body. It's also a symbol of healing and magic and is now used as the sign for modern medicine. And early forms of the caduceus have been noted on Mesopotamian cylinder seals as far back as 3000 or 4000 BC. So as we journey through the mysteries today and as we continue on for today, we will be following the serpent. This is a symbol that comes up for us again and again, and we want to follow very closely. So now I'm going to turn it over to Verdeluz.
All right, can you hear me?
Yes.
Good. Wow. Jocelyn, you always deliver so many magical pills for us to swallow.
I try.
Well, I want to carry over that theme of the serpent. And so I'm going to start my screen share here. Do I have permission for that? All right, let me do this. And all right, do you see the serpent? Beautiful. So here you actually can see the image of the Ouroboros. And the Ouroboros, as many of you know, is this symbol of this regenerative life force. And it's very connected to the nodes of the moon, which I'll tell you about more at the end of our webinar today, because there's a class coming up that is all about the nodes, which have to do with the evolution of the soul. And it's the idea of the repetition of certain themes in our consciousness that need many incarnations, many lifetimes to work out. It's definitely part of our soul's evolutionary journey, the North Node. And the South Node has a lot to do with our soul's history and the medicine and the tribe that we come from, the kinds of characters that are really rich in our soul and places of access for wisdom for us. Now, this image and what I want to share with you today is really the mystery of immortality as it's translated through three different cultures. And the word culture is very connected to the word cult. We have the stellar, the lunar, and the solar cults. And these three cults are always, and have always been, and will probably always be, the source of what we call astrotheology. And the study of discovering the God self through the stars, the sun and the moon, is what I want to share with you today. And to pick up on the serpent, the solar and stellar cults were very connected with the serpent. Actually, it was one of their major symbols. I'll start with this quote from the great Roman philosopher whose name was Marcus Aurelius. He was also the king, the emperor. He said, "The Pythagoreans bid us in the morning look to the heavens that we may be reminded of those bodies which continually do the same things and in the same manner perform their work, and also be reminded of their purity and nudity. For there is no veil over a star." Wow. So there's so much beauty here in terms of the eternal wisdom and light and medicine of the star, and the reminder of who we really are as beings of the stars. But it's also a reference to the Pythagoreans. And Pythagoreans were the followers of Pythagoras, one of the great mystery schools of all time was about sacred numerics. And the Pythagoreans were about much more than that. They were about living a holy life and a life filled with what the Gnostics, another tradition, were all about, which was direct experience of the divine. And that had to do so much with an ability to channel the wisdom of the stars, to be in right relationship with each other, to understand the mysteries. And for the Pythagoreans, they understood that the cosmos was made of holy or sacred number. And in fact, Pythagoras, his name means I am the Python, right? And again, whenever we see the idea of wisdom and healing, it's always associated with the python or the serpent. And we'll return to Pythagoras shortly. Now, we always see again, especially in cultures such as the Mayans and the Egyptians, who are so deeply connected to the mysteries, the image of the king or queen associated with the serpent. And here you see the uraeus, and here it is here. This is Nefertari, who was Ramses' wife, and King Tut. And what we have here is, again, the uraeus. It's coming out of the crown chakra, out of the third eye. And this is, again, the alignment of all of the chakras, you know, in this perfect harmony, right? And we always see that dance of the caduceus. I have it actually on my arm, right? The double serpent, the winged serpent, the feathered serpent, which we also call Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent. The story of the feathered serpent is really the story of the journey of the sun through the year. And the sun, as it moves out of that solar hero of the inflated ego and it moves into the underworld, and it integrates the wisdom of the underworld, the wisdom of the serpent that has descended into form, the soul that has descended, and then it returns on this conscious journey of ascent. And we're going to talk more about that, but that journey of descent, the descending serpent, and that journey of ascent, the ascending serpent, is the feathered serpent. It is the caduceus. And this is why you see this energy all around the kings and queens who represented this idea of what we call the perennial philosophy. Sacred rulership is what we've lost. Look at what's happening with the ruler of the country of the US in terms of the presidency. His game is litigation. His game is about trying to cheat, right? And this is the issue, right? That we have lost sacred rulership because we've lost the connection to the ancient mysteries. We've lost the connection to what the sun, the moon, and the stars really mean for all of us. But the Egyptians, the Mayans, and many other cultures knew this, and they wore it even in their dress and their costume. So here we have the mystery of immortality and sacred time. We know that we mark time through the lunar calendar when we talk about a month or a month, right? And this is the power of understanding that we will always go through cycles of rebirth and regeneration, right? The first calendars were written, you know, on the backs of turtle shells, and mostly had to do with, of course, the feminine menstrual cycle. And so we have this ancient connection with the idea of coming through time as a rite of passage each month. And we have the new moon rising to the full moon, and then the balsamic and the death cycle and the rebirth every month, right? But we also have, and that's time on this micro scale, but we have time on the most macro scale. Here you see an image of what we have seen as the oldest star in the known universe that we can see, which is 14.5 billion years old, of red dwarf.
Okay,
And
so
this,
we're still seeing the first image.
the first image,
Yes.
okay, all right, that's a big deal. I'm not sure why I'm sharing my screen. Hold on one second here. I'm sharing my keynote, so everything should be okay, participants. Let me go to share screen again. Please let me know if you don't see the right image, Jocelyn. So I'm going to go back and forth a bit. Now, do you see the moon?
We see the mystery of immortality and sacred time.
Do you see the moon?
It's a red moon.
No.
It's a red. Ready.
All right, I'm gonna have to do a different share. Apologies to everyone. I guess the keynote is not working, so let's try. I guess I'll try to share my desktop. We love Zoom so much.
We have lots of fun with Zoom.
We do, because we wouldn't be teaching as much as we do without it. So here was the quote from Pythagoras, or about Pythagoras. I don't know if you see that now. Yes?
Yes, we see that.
Okay, please. I am the Python. Do you see that?
Yes.
Now, do you see sacred rulership?
Yes.
Okay. So we'll keep it like this. The mystery of immortality and sacred time, the moon, you should see that now. And then the image of the red dwarf. So this is the 14.5 billion year old star. So now we have a connection through stellar wisdom and the study of the stars to immortality. No one can conceive of the idea of 14.5 billion years, right? But we knew, the ancients knew when we looked at the stars, that we were looking for the Egyptians. We were actually witness to the gods. The circumpolar stars that stayed near the heavens at the poles, they were the gods that stayed. They never really engaged with man. They were always near the top of the sky, right? Sometimes the stars would come down to earth and they would eventually disappear. And that was when a god went into the underworld, but he would rise, or she would rise again. This was called the heliacal rising star. We had the heliacal setting star as well. So there was a relationship between the stars, the earth plane, the interface of the earth, and the underworld, and the divinities. In fact, interestingly enough, every day was dedicated to a rising and setting star to the Egyptians. Now, once Christianity came in, they took the idea of the stellar cult that the Egyptians practiced for thousands of years, and they mapped the solar cult onto that, which we're going to talk about in a minute. And they did that through Christ and the story of Christ, but they also did it by laying on a feast day for each saint, which was associated to each day of the year, which was an exact replica of the Egyptian practice of honoring a different star or a different divinity each day of the year. So we're going to see again and again that these different cults or cultures, they actually grafted onto their belief systems different traditions from other cults. Here you see the sun and the mystery of immortality through the sun. Now, the sun's teaching is that every day we are reborn, we are resurrected. This is the great teaching of Osiris being dismembered by his brother Set, and Isis gathering his parts, and then the return and the resurrection through his son Horus, that regenerative cycle, which is the risen son Horus. Now we see this idea also connected to the scarab beetle, which is, kind of never dies. It's survived since it's one of the oldest species on the planet. And so the Egyptians knew this, and they connected it with the sun, and it was called Khepera. Here you actually see the boat, the bark of Ra. But you have this idea that throughout the wheel of the year, we have the sun being reborn as it goes into the underworld at this time of year in Scorpio, and then is reborn at the Christmas holidays, and also at the equinoxes and the solstices and the sacred days of the year. We have a story of the sun, which is the solar hero within each one of us. Reborn every day with Horus, reborn every year with the equinoxes and the solstices. And so here you see the sun, the wheel of the Zodiac, right? And this is the great teaching of the evolutionary story of the soul. Now, there's a reason why all of the nation states have stars and stripes on them. Not just stars and stripes, but suns and moons, right? We have China, we have UK, we have the European Union. How many stars are on the flag of the European Union? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. For the 12 signs of the zodiac, the 12 journeys, temples, realms, palaces that the sun, the solar hero, travels through every year. And there's the, of course, American flag here with the stars and stripes. I don't have an image here, but you've all probably seen the Statue of Liberty, and you know that she wears a crown made out of a star. The cultures that have created nation states, such as the US, knew this. The Freemasons that created the states knew the teachings from the Egyptians. They were initiated into these mysteries, and they encoded it into the buildings and into the flags and into all of the teachings coming out of the governments. California flag, which I come from California. I was born in California. And it looks simple enough. It looks like the grizzly bear, you know, which was very common in California, and the star here. And but you know, it's actually Ursa Majora. Yeah. And that's the great pole star that Ursa Majora always stays around, because Ursa Majora doesn't set. It's a circumpolar constellation. It goes around with the pole star and stays up in the heavens all of the year. Yes, this is in the flag of California. And so just to share with you that, you know, a little bit of my personal upbringing, I was raised Catholic, a word that means all encompassing, which is ironic because so much of Catholicism has throughout time, like, actually excluded so much. But the interesting thing is that the Catholic religion actually included so much of the solar tradition and the stellar tradition. And here you see an image, an Orthodox image of Christ. And here you see the Pisces and Aquarius and Capricorn and Sagittarius and Cancer. So here's the sun rays emerging out of Christ. Of course, whenever you see the halo, this is always a connection with the sun. And all the signs are here. Right? Here are the 12 angels. Again, the sacred number 12. And we see, of course, throughout the Bible, we could spend 10 hours talking about quotes from the Bible that refer to the stars and the sun and the moon. But God said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night. Sacred time again. And let them be for the signs, zodiac signs, and for the seasons, the 4 seasons, and for days and years. And then there's this cryptic quote from the book of John, chapter 14. In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you. Christ says this in the book of John. It's very weird. And how could a house have many mansions? House have many mansions? I mean, a mansion, maybe a mansion could have many rooms. A palace could have sort of houses within it. But in the ancient world, and still today in Vedic astrology, the moon travels through lunar mansions. This was also talked about in Arabic astrology. My Father's house, there could be the 12 houses of the Zodiac. Now, my Father's house would be the heavenly skies, and Jesus as the sun would be saying, I go to prepare a place for you. I go to travel the sky, journeying through the houses, the mansions of the sky. Always there's this teaching of this kind of exemplar of Christ as the sun. And for me growing up, I always going to my Christian church and school growing up, I would see these images of the eagle and this ox, bull, and this, you know, lion, and it was Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, and it was a beautiful stained glass. But I didn't know then that we were talking about the 4 royal stars, which is called the fixed cross. They're connected to the signs of Aquarius, Leo, Taurus, and Scorpio. This is in the Christian church. This is in many Christian churches. This is in a key component of the idea of the stability of the cross, the sky. And of course, the cross is the cross of matter. The crucifix, the fixed stars, are on the cross of matter. And so we always see this motif. It's carried through Christianity. Here you see the signs Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. And the 4 royal stars of them: Aldebaran, Antares, Regulus, and Fomalhaut. And we see in Da Vinci's great painting of the Last Supper, right? We've all seen this. We see the halos, we see the sun symbolism here for each of the 12 signs of the zodiac, the 12 apostles or disciples. But you know what's interesting is that they're broken up into these 4 areas here. Well, and look at the 4 areas they're pretty self-contained. I mean, they're all kind of with each other, and these are the 4 seasons around the solar hero, around Christ, right? And I guess, you know, we have to talk about our prayers and why we say amen at the end of our prayers, right? Amen is Amen Ra. The end of every prayer is actually dedicated to the great creator God of Egypt, Amen Ra. You know, but why weren't we told this? Why wasn't I told this growing up? Why weren't these mysteries given to us? Is it some kind of control? Is it because, you know, it's been passed on from generation to generation? And, you know, who does know these teachings in the Roman Catholic Church? I mean, is it the pastor, the father star, right? Or the minister, the minister, mini-star? Encoded even in the names of the different beings in the church hierarchy are stellar, solar, and lunar symbolism, like even the deacon or the deacon. The deacon in the Mass is one who performs some of the rites of the liturgy. And the deacon is a 10 degrees of the zodiac, every deacon. So there are 36 deacons. Each sign of the zodiac has 3 deacons within it. Decans, they're called. 10 degrees. Deca is 10. So this is encoded in the church. It's encoded in our clocks. Here's the Prague clock, astronomical clock, one of my favorite clocks. And here you see Big Ben. Now, you always see the 12 in the clock, right? Of course, the 12 signs of the zodiac, the 12. It's not 24, it's 12. Again, the sun is moving in this journey. And we see every time, every day, that Horus is rising. Horus, from where we get the word hour, which is how we tell time. Or the Horus zone, the horizon, where the sun rises. In the ancient world, during Shakespeare's time, the horizons were what we called prayers. They were called horizons. And you turn to the east to offer your prayers because that's the rising sun. So this has been encoded throughout time, this mystery. In fact, it even shows up in Mother Mary and the Black Madonna, which is connected to the galactic center. But it's also shown here and in many, many other images of Mary and the Mother and the Madonna. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 stars. 12 signs. Here's from the Jewish synagogue. Can you direct the movement of the stars, binding the cluster of the Pleiades or loosening the cords of Orion? This is in the Old Testament in the book of Job. And here you see a Jewish synagogue with the signs of the zodiac and the journey of the sun. And in Islam, you see the Islamic flag here. You see the sign of Ophiuchus, the serpent bearer. And it is he who placed for you the stars that you may be guided by them through the darknesses of the land and sea. And of course, the Arabs named most of the stars. Al-Debaran in Taurus, Al-Niktak, Al-Nilam, these are in Orion, Al-Resha, the knot, Al-Jabbar. In fact, algebra was created not only to map the stars, but actually to find Mecca. And so we actually have that science was created out of the desire to know God and to pray to God. And again, we turn to a single direction. And that's some of the beauty in the Islamic faith is that idea. But we have, again, this connection for all the monotheistic faiths, Judaism and Christianity and Islam, this connection directly to the sun, the moon, and the stars. It's in the scriptures, it's in the practices, it's in the liturgies. It goes all the way back, as we said, to Egypt and even before, right? But to Egypt, here we see the Dendera zodiac with all the constellations. Here's Gemini. You can see the Scorpion right here. Here's Sagittarius next to it. Capricorn right here. Right? Dendera, one of the most sacred temples. It's the temple of Hathor. So Of course, the Mayans, this is where I celebrated 2012, was at the Chichen Itza pyramid. And you could see here the perfection of the solar serpent that takes place in the March equinox, spring equinox, when the sun is exactly forming this serpentine light. Here's the mouth of the serpent. And the Mayans were, of course, with the Egyptians, the best astronomer and architects of the ancient world, and all their buildings were encoded directly to be pointed to or to receive the light of the stars. Newgrange is another great temple, a complex for in Ireland or in the UK that was directly related to the light of the stars and the sun coming in at particular key moments, like at the equinoxes and the solstices. But this was also brought up to modern times. And this is where we see the city of Paris. Note 12 lanes coming off the Arc de Triomphe for the constellations. And here you see Washington, D.C. and the obelisk, which of course was taken from the temples of Karnak in Egypt, right? Because we have these symbols of power. And here we have, again, time being told. In Washington, D.C., right here, we see Aquarius, Pisces. We can see the bull right here. The lion right here. And this is also in Washington, D.C. The Zodiac is on the floor here, the Library of Congress. And interestingly, of course, those who built Washington, D.C. and all the buildings were Freemasons. And the symbol even for Freemasonry connects directly to the Egyptian lineage of Geb, the earth god here, beneath the sky goddess Nuit. You can see the exact symbolism here. And there are something like 23 zodiacs that were found all over DC, and over 1,000 stellar, lunar, and solar references. This is from the book called The Secret Architecture of Our Nature's Capital. This is by David Oveson. He talks also a lot about how DC was built at specific times under certain electional dates, meaning electional astrology, the right date to honor the constellation of Virgo. It's really fascinating work. So again, but none of us were taught this. I mean, in US history class, I never learned this, right? So, and of course we have the number 12 everywhere, right? 12 hours, 12 months, 12 signs of the Zodiac. It's all through Egyptian cosmology, the 12 patriarchs of Israel, the 12 tribes of Israel. And of course, the 12 knights of the Round Table. It goes into mythology. It goes throughout all of history. And so I'm going to mention, just going to spend a couple minutes here on one of the great lineages of the mystery schools, which was very connected to the Zodiac. And before I do that, I just want to mention why, why has all of this been encoded? It's because astrology and astrotheology, which is the study of God through the stars and the sun and the moon, or the God self on his journey. It's because we've been given a code. My first book is called Codex of the Soul, and it's a concept that the Hermeticists, the Kabbalists, and all the mystery schools called as above, so below. That we have a language to learn about our souls, and astrology represents an ability to learn through pattern recognition. When we understand these symbols. And as we understand the patterns in our soul, we can evolve. And when we descend from our stellar, our kind of cosmic self, when the soul descends and forgets who it is, the journey back to ascent is by learning who we truly are. And as the Oracle of Delphi said, know thyself. And so astrology and astrotheology become a path of knowing thyself. And this is what all the Egyptian teachings, all the Pythagoreans, the different mystery schools, the Gnostics, and definitely this school, which we call Mithraism, was all about. Now, the Pythagoreans, the Mithraists, the astrologers and sages, they talked about the planets as vestments of the soul, like clothing we would put on. And so here you could see that here are the planetary teachers. And as the soul descended, this is what Plato taught, as the soul descended, it would take on, it would kind of hook into a certain kind of vestment, a certain kind of clothing it would wear in this lifetime. So when we study astrology, we study kind of the robes of our consciousness, what we're wearing in this lifetime. And then we learn how to wear that with all its glitter and gold. We learn how to wear it at its highest vibration. And when we wear it at its highest vibration, we transmute all of the energy of the planets into this pure light, which we call the light body, the glorified body, the rainbow body. And I believe that that's what we're moving towards in this journey right now as we move into the Aquarian age. As we raise our vibration, as we upgrade, we are learning how to express the most evolved versions of ourselves by the study of astrology and astrotheology, by being initiated into these mysteries. And these are our teachers, the planets. And the 7 planets, of course, are the 7 chakras. They're all connected. And I want to read you a quote in a moment from Pythagoras. But before that, here's Mithraism. And what I want to share with you with Mithraism is that there was these 3 rites. Well, first of all, the first thing is that the connections between Mithraism and Christianity there's so many. I'm just going to name you like 3 or 4 real quick. But Mithraism was practiced by Roman soldiers mostly, and a lot of the Roman kind of more of the regular people of Rome. But it was a kind of mystery school that the initiate would pass through into these chambers, these caves. And here you could see Mithras in the famous Tauroctony, which is actually the ending of the Taurian age. And here are the signs of the zodiac again around Mithras. You can see Pisces very easily here. It was a solar cult, but it was a cult of initiation into the great mysteries. So you see that Mithras's birthday was December 25th. See that there was a strong emphasis on moral conduct, that there was a concept of heaven and hell, and of abstinence, and of atoning for oneself. That there was the immortality of the soul, that there was last judgment, that there was resurrection. There are all of these motifs that were very easily grafted into Christianity. And of course, Christianity and Mithraism were at the same time. So it was easy to take what was very popular at the time, the Roman government, and they actually could make another religion called Christianity because it was already popular amongst the Romans. It's called Mithraism. And in the initiation process of the Mithraic tradition, this cave that the initiates would go through was adorned with the signs of the zodiac. And it was an initiatory journey through these different realms or temples of consciousness as one would move through these caves. There were 3 levels. What I find fascinating is that the first level was all about, or the first degree was all about purification. And this is so that we could actually attain the intellectual powers needed to be a full initiate and remove ourselves from the pure animal nature and really come into this intentional, conscious self. So the initiate was given a crown as a symbol, and it was a crown and a sword. Now the crown, interestingly enough, we see with Christ, right? The crown of thorns. But the crown, could it be that the crown is actually the crown of the rays of the sun, right? It's a possibility here. And so when the initiate would move through these degrees, the last degree, the initiate was given the cape filled with the stars. And it was said that they had risen from the dead. They had risen from the cave, risen from the dead, just like Jesus. Right? So there's so much more here, but I want to share with you the power of these traditions and that we are remembering this at this time. It's a process of remembrance. I'll share this quote with you. Behold, the faithful and loving Osiris has come as the stars of Orion, the beautiful one. I have come that I may glorify Orion. My soul is a star of gold, and with him I will traverse the sky forever. And I believe that we are all remembering the mysteries of Osiris, who wore the garment of light. We're remembering the transfigured Christ. We are becoming this. And this is the process that is talked about by the initiates, by the teachings, by the mystery school adepts, that when the soul chooses to return, it chooses this path of moving on an evolutionary journey through the Zodiac and through integrating all of the wisdom of the planetary teachers. So it has been a child of innocence when it descended, but as it returns, it's through 100% complete choice and intention to return and choose that highest vibration, so that the prisms of the colors of light, of rainbow light, will actually return to that one white light source. And that's where we see the rainbow body tradition of the Tibetans, and we see the light body tradition from all the other mystery school traditions, even including mystic Christianity. So that's what I want to leave you with here today. This last poem from Ralph Waldo Emerson: teach me your mood, O patient stars, who climb each night the ancient sky, leaving on space no shade, no scars, no trace of age, no fear to die. And as we talked about in the beginning, of course, immortality. This is who we are, and the sun, the moon, and the stars, and the mysteries of them are our path to remember who we are.
Wow, thank you, Verdeluz. That was definitely mind-blowing. Thank you so much. I know everybody really enjoyed that. Well, everybody, we are very excited to make an announcement here of something we've been waiting to share for a very long time and working on for a very long time. So if this resonates with you, if you feel that you want to go deeper into learning about all of this that is hidden right before our eyes in our world around us, right? All of these ancient mysteries that are wanting to reawaken through us at this time, we have an extremely powerful offering that Verdeluz and I are creating together for you. And so let me share this with you. We're so excited to announce the opening of the Bridging Dimensions Mystery School. So this is an astrotheology and shamanic alchemy immersion. And it is a school that Verdeluz and I will be teaching together over the next year, from November of 2020 to November 2021. Now, this is an extremely potent portal that you are invited into. It is truly an initiation of journey from dismemberment, which is where we are now. We're truly being taken apart and dismembered on all levels right now at this time in our world, back to rememberment of all that's within us, of all the wisdom that the ancients have left to us, that our ancestors have passed along to us. And so we're being asked at this time, and let me share the link to this page with everybody in the chat so that you can go ahead and check it out at your own pace as well.
Can you still hear me?
Yes.
I just want to speak to dismemberment. I mean, this is the core of shamanic cosmology, that all of us have been fully dismembered this year, right? We thought we knew who we were collectively and individually, and the Great Spirit has had another plan for all of us. And like every shaman, you know, the first journey is a rite of passage, an initiation, and it involves dismemberment. And it's a process where we lose the sense of who we thought we were. And that's necessary in order to actually remember who we are. So we've been in this collective process of really shedding the old self, and that's part of this dismemberment journey. And now it's time to remember as we move into 2021. We are remembering now, like, this solar, stellar, lunar, immortal self, and how we come to be an agent of consciousness on the planet.
Yes, definitely. And so as we are being asked at this time to rebuild not only ourselves having been dismembered, but our world having been also in the process of being taken apart right now, It may seem that we're being asked to do the impossible, but it's okay because we actually know how to do this already. This is already within us, in our DNA, in our ancestral memories, in our heart, in our blood, in our souls. It is already coming through in the instructions that we're receiving from the earth and the cosmos and our guides. And so this is truly the process of rememberment that we are ready to begin living. Now, there's a lot of information here on the page that's really important. And I can't go through all of it right now, but I invite you all to come to this page and really explore in detail and just listen into your heart, really listen into your soul and see what resonates for you here. Now, it's really important to know that it is time for us to become sacred initiates, just as we were initiated in past lifetimes, right? Just when you or I were the shaman, the priest or priestess, the oracle, the alchemist, right? This information, this magic, this wisdom, these instructions are coming back around to us. And I know that anyone on this call is feeling this really strongly right now, right? As visionary leaders that are going to be building the future of our world and that are going to then be handing this on to the next generation and the next to continue building that world, we need to be trained in these mysteries.
Sacred rulership. Once again, you know, we know that our political leaders are not really the leaders of the world, that each of us are, and we need to remember the alchemy, the witchcraft, the herbalism, the shamanism, the astrology in our souls, and we need to bring that out because we are going to be the sacred rulers of the next age that's unfolding now.
Yes, and every one of us is already holding key mystery lineages that need to be brought together in community and reawakened at this time. So because of all this, this is why we created this mystery school, Bridging Dimensions. And it's based upon a 5-dimensional star architecture, which includes the stellar mysteries, the solar mysteries, the lunar mysteries, the earth mysteries, and the underworld mysteries. So you are invited in to explore all these 5 levels of the mystery. Now, also important to note here is that each of you who say yes to this journey, who join as a student or as a novitiate, which is what the students were called before they were fully initiated in ancient times, you are the hero of this journey. And so this is going to be very much a choose your own adventure kind of journey, because Verdeluz and I, we want to guide you through this, right? We want to draw on our lineages and bring the wisdom through as we know it, but only you can define what the ultimate truth is, the ultimate wisdom for you and what you are meant to carry forward. So you are truly the storyteller of this story. So we invite you to choose your own adventure, choose wisely and rebelliously. And we are going to give so much space in this school for while we're going to deliver the teachings from every continent, from a vast multitude of different cultures and traditions to really discern the truth, to find the universal truths that are here. But we're going to give you plenty of space, really let you be set free to dance and journey and travel and find your own truth and really awaken the lineages that you hold in your own DNA and your past lives that you're meant to bring forward. Because this is how we build the new future, right? In community, honoring the sacred mysteries, really connecting together with the others in this soul cluster. This is going to be an incredible group of visionary human beings, magical human beings, all coming together to reawaken the mysteries.
Yeah, this is really an invitation for our soul families to reunite right now at this time, and it's something that I continue to teach about and study, the soul cluster, the soul family, and I really believe this mystery school is calling in, you know, a remembrance of our soul kindred, you know. So I'm so excited to see who's gonna remember each other in this process.
Yes, absolutely. So as we all know, now is the time. Like there is no time to waste. The time is now. It's ready to, we're already on the initiatory journey, right? It's time to say yes and go in fully, go in deeply. Now this is the rainbow light body image. Would you like to say something about this, Verdeluz?
No, I really think that this is our destiny, you know, that we're awakening to now. And it comes not only through the teachings, it's not just an intellectual process. And that's why this mystery school is extremely experiential and embodied. You know, we've been too much in our mental body most of our life. We've neglected, you know, embodying these archetypes through movement and dance, or, you know, being in our emotional body. And that's why we do journey work. That's why we do shamanic journeys. That's why we're going to be dancing and doing yoga and qigong for the different temples that we're going to be moving through. We're going to really bring this into being under the night sky, you know, and this is a full sensual and then trans-sensual experience, you know, beyond the senses, but also with the senses, right? Transcendent and immanent, both, right? We don't want to get out of the body completely. We don't want to just stay locked into the 3D. We want to expand all the way out and all the way in.
Now I'm going to scroll through. I really invite you to come here and read this Is This You section, and really just, again, feel into your heart. Does this resonate for you? Okay. And yeah, read through here also about the stellar hero and heroine, right? The solar hero and heroine. This is your invitation. This is the hero's journey through the stellar mysteries, the solar mysteries, the lunar, the earth, and the underworld mysteries. So come and read all of this. But I want to really share with you what we're going to be including in this program, in this amazing, very holistic program. So we're going to celebrate the sacred days, the holy days, right? Including the solstices, the equinoxes, and the cross-quarter days. These are the times when there opens up the veil, you know, parts, and there exists a crack or an opening between worlds, and the sacred energy of the unseen can enter fully into our earth plane. We're also going to be journeying and be guided by gatekeepers, guides, gods, and goddesses for each temple, right? We're going to guide and protect our journeys and initiate us into the mysteries of that temple. And I'll show you the temple structure in just a minute. That is the structure and how this is all laid out and organized is by temple. There's going to be rites of passage, okay? Key steps on your healing journey led by our gatekeepers. We're going to work on de-armoring and vulnerability, because this is so important for our community, for us to really reveal our true selves to one another, to peel back the layers that have been handed to us, forced upon us through regulations and rules and authorities, right? And really get into the truth within and be able to share that with one another. Now there's so much more here, but some of the things I want to highlight are the visual astrology and direct night sky gazing. We're going to really return to a direct, physical, embodied, personal experience with the stars, right? Beyond, we're going to use your birth chart and the horoscope, but we're going to also be really going out and letting the light in our eyes connect with the light in the stars. There's great power in doing this. So we'll guide you in that. We're also going to give you take-home tantra practices for sacred intimacy with your own partner or with yourself. It's going to be really beautiful, opening you up to deeper and deeper levels of connection, relationship, self-love, really beautiful. And we're going to, of course, share many, many, many shamanic journeys, right? Really profound and deep shamanic journeys, and also movement practices where you will get to experience yoga and qigong and dance and many other ways to really fully engage, again, not just on a mental level, but on a very, very embodied level. So again, there's so much here, but I want to really get to where I can show you the structure. So the structure of this program is 13 temples of transformation, and this is our dynamic curriculum. Now we're going to meet on Wednesdays at 1 p.m. Eastern, 2 times a month. And we really invite you to think of each temple that we will move through as a sacred space in the palace of consciousness. And so here are the temples that we'll be moving through. So starting on November 18th, we will move into the temple of Ophiuchus. Now I'm sure you've heard of Ophiuchus. This is the 13th sign of the Zodiac. It is the sign that doesn't normally show up on your birth chart, but it is there, and it is between Scorpio and Sagittarius. So in the temple of Ophiuchus, you will awaken the power of riding the serpent and integrate the medicine of dreaming. We're going to study with Asclepius in the healing dream temples, and we're going to journey deep into really initiating you as the shaman, as the priest, priestess, as the oracle, as the alchemist, and give you a chance to fully, truly say yes to this journey. to forget everything you've learned before so that you can remember everything that is ultimately true for you. Then in December, we're going to move into the temple of Sagittarius, where you will access the power of the philosopher's heart and integrate the medicine of sage wisdom. Now, some of our gatekeepers and guides for this temple will include Rumi, Lao Tzu, the goddess Saraswati, and Quetzalcoatl. So very powerful here. We're going to journey to the center of the cosmos, the galactic center, remember who we really are. And we're also going to celebrate the sacred holy day of the solstice that will occur in December. And so much more, as you can see. Then in January, we'll move into the temple of Capricorn, where you will access the power of the successful strategist and the medicine of the wise elder. And we're going to journey to the pyramids, where you'll be enveloped in the highest frequency structure known on Earth, these pyramids, of course, that the Egyptians built, and enjoy a sound healing ascension journey. We're also going to study the rebirth of the solar god that is occurring at this time of year as the sun is again gaining strength in the sky. And look at how this influences and informs your own personal hero's journey. Now, every month you'll see we're going to have a choose your own adventure practice or activity where you will be able to go really deeply into the meaning of this particular temple for you in your current life, in your past lives, in your future lives. How does this pertain to you? How can it guide you and inspire you? In February, we'll move into the temple of Aquarius, where you will access the power of galactic stewardship and the medicine of visionary innovation. Our gatekeepers and guides for this temple will be the god Enki, the goddess Pandora, master teacher animals unicorn, dragon, and polar bear. And we'll celebrate the cross-quarter sacred day that occurs on February 1st, which is Candlemas, and related to the goddess Bridget. Now, I'm going to move a little more quickly here because, again, you can come to this page. Let me put the link in the chat again and check this all out in greater detail. But I do want to show you all the investment, because I'm sure you're probably all wondering. And I want to also show you the amazing bonuses that we have. So in March, we'll be moving through the Temple of Pisces, power of true imagination and the medicine of universal consciousness. In April, we'll move through the Temple of Aries, the power of fearless leadership and the medicine of courageous daring. In May, the Temple of Taurus, the power of the Earth's ley lines and the medicine of abundance. In June, the Temple of Gemini, the power of the shapeshifter and the medicine of the messenger. In July, the Temple of Cancer, the power of water and the medicine of the Great Mother and Great Father. And every month we'll be going deeper and deeper. As you can imagine, we'll be opening, all of us are gonna be just our hearts expanding, our awareness, our consciousness expanding and opening up more and more and more as we journey deeper and deeper throughout this year. 1 year is an incredibly potent time frame. Actually, 13 months is an incredibly potent time frame to create true and lasting transformation in your life on all levels. And so that's why it was really important for us to journey through all of these archetypes, all of these temples, and give you a chance to really remember, as we talked about, the opposite of dismemberment. Rebuild yourself, remember yourself on all levels here throughout the year. In August, we'll move through the Temple of Leo with the Lion's Gate and the power of charismatic leadership and the medicine of creative genius. Then in September, the Temple of Virgo, the power of service and the medicine of devotion. In October, the Temple of Libra, the power of harmonious partnership and the medicine of entering the underworld. And one of my favorites, in November, we'll enter the Temple of Scorpio, where you will access the power of shadow mastery and the medicine of shamanic alchemy. So again, there's so much here. Come back and read more. But we will complete on November 15, 2021 with your graduation ceremony where you will be initiated as a priest or priestess of the Bridging Dimensions Mystery School. And as it says here, from there you can go forth and change everything. The power is yours. We also will be encouraging you throughout this time to create your own temple. You know, these are the archetypal temples that we have here but you will be guided and encouraged to create your own unique temple that brings all of your unique wisdom, past life lineages, DNA and ancestral lineages, and what you know of the future into your unique temple, right? So we'll talk more about that once we're in the program. So here's the investment. The level 1, okay, we have a level 1 and a level 2 here, and we invite you to join at the level which resonates most for you. So the full Mystery School immersion, which includes the full 12, or actually it's 13-month group program, including the private online course portal, which is a non-Facebook course portal where you'll be able to connect in just with the participants in this group and form really tight bonds and collaborations with everybody. It also includes, of course, plenty of Q&A and coaching from me and Verdeluz in the live calls, which will be 2 times per month. And lots of deepening exercises and additional resources that you can do in addition to what we'll be practicing during class. So the price for this level 1 is $25.55. We do have an installment plan if you prefer that over the pay in full, but the full pay is $25.55. Now then, the level 2 includes customized one-on-one support. So in level 2, the pricing is $37.77, and you'll receive everything that you saw above in level 1, plus 2 60-minute empowerment coaching sessions with Verdeluz, and 2 90-minute one-on-one sessions with me that can be used anytime throughout the year whenever you would like additional support, customized coaching, or visionary insights. And we're going to, of course, tailor these sessions very, very much to precisely what you as an individual need at that point in time as you are traversing this transformational path. Now, there's so much that we're going to be sharing with you over the year. We know that this program is worth so much more than the price that you see here, but we wanted to try to make it really as affordable as possible for everybody. This is an incredible 1-year journey that we'll be sharing together. And so if you want to, you can come to this page and select your payment option. These are the pay in fulls for level 1, level 2, and these are the installment plans for level 1 and level 2. And registration will be open until next Saturday. So Saturday, November 14th at 11:59 p.m. New York time. That is when the cart will close. And we will have our first class on November 18th. And this mystery school is open and welcoming to people of all genders, all sexual preferences. And I'll share something in a little bit about, we would love to have plenty of men attending this in addition to women, right? So I'll share about that in just a minute. But really important, I want to share with you the bonuses. So there's a fast action bonus for the first 3 people who join today, November 5th. So if you join by 11:59 p.m. New York time today, you will receive a one-on-one session with both me and Verdeluz. Okay, so a 45-minute activating your astral knowledge session with me and a 30-minute awakening session with Verdeluz. Now you can use these right away as we're beginning, or you can save them to use later when you would like to have additional customized support. And again, only the first 3 people to join today will receive this. So let me put the link in the chat one more time here. If you want to be one of those first 3, go ahead and sign up right away on the page here at this link that I just put in the chat. If you're listening to this as a recording later on, just look in the email that the recording came in and you'll see the link to the program there. Now, everyone who joins the Mystery School will receive these bonuses related to your moon sign, because the moon sign is very important to know. It is an archetypal indicator of your memories, your coping mechanisms, your emotions, and how you feel safe and get your needs met, okay? So we want everyone to have a really solid foundation with their moon sign. So you're going to receive 2 classes. One is a class that was created by Verdeluz that's called Boost Your Emotional Intelligence with your astrological moon sign. And the second is a workshop that I created called Connect with Your Womb Space and Moon Sign to activate your creative life force. Even though it says womb space, it's not only for women, it is for women and men. So everyone who signs up by November 14th will get that bonus. And there's another piece here that's really important for you to know that we want to include as a bonus as well. So this is a presentation that Verdeluz is going to do live in late November. And you will receive this for free, whereas it's normally a paid class. You will get this for free if you join the Mystery School by November 14th, and it is on karmic astrology, past lives, and the soul's evolutionary journey.
Yeah, this is going to be a very important class because it's really the roots from where we start our mystery school. So it's all about being able to access uh, both the karmic attachments in our souls, but also the wisdom that we carry. And we're bringing the wisdom of that tribe, those characters that we come from, you know, which really has a lot to do with our South Node. And we're going to really dive deep into this teaching. We're going to do a couple practices to really get into who these characters are that are seeking to come through in the mystery school and infuse our community with their wisdom.
Yes, amazing. Thank you. Now, we want everyone to know that we, with very open arms, we welcome both men and women into this program. So Verdeluz and I are teaching this together, and that is a really important component here of the program because we want you to receive all of this mystery information from both the sacred masculine and the sacred feminine. Now, of course, this is not strictly, you know, this is not a man-woman thing. We all hold the sacred masculine and sacred feminine within all of us. But one thing that we notice, you know, as we see who is signing up for these kinds of programs is very often it's mostly women. And there are a lot of programs out there that are for the priestess path or the goddess path, which are only for women. And this is wonderful for the women, okay? But I know that we are all truly longing to construct a sacred new world in which both men and women can equally easily embrace and engage with these kinds of mystery teachings. So we want you to know that if you're a man and you're considering joining the mystery school, we would love to have your attendance. And the curriculum is designed and attuned for both men and women. It is very holistic, very all-inclusive. So reach out to us if you have any questions that would help you make that decision about joining.
Yeah, and also just, you know, again, so many amazing women I know are on this call right now, and they want their partners to step onto this evolutionary path with them. And I just really want to invite that process, and that we want to support you in that journey. And that's why we have, you know, specials and offers like for couples, because we really believe that this work is all about sacred relationship, conscious relationship, and it begins with our beloveds. And I know that I don't see the masculine moving as quickly on this path as we might hope. So we really want to invite that in.
Yes, absolutely. So if you would love to join together with your partner, okay, or with, you know, your couple to join, then please let us know, because we do have special pricing for partners attending the mystery school together. So that is pretty much all that we wanted to share with you today about the mystery school. You can come here, as I said, and read more. So you feel really comfortable joining. But again, don't wait too long. The first 3 to join today will receive that extra bonus, as well as the regular bonuses, and as well as everything that we're going to be sharing here in this program. So we do want to open up for Q&A and questions. If anybody has any about the program or about what we shared so far. And welcome to those who are saying that you've already signed up. Yay, we're so excited to work with you. Amazing.
Congratulations. Yeah, we're really excited.
Yes, beautiful.
What's that? This is great. Will the school be closed after November 21st of 2021?
Do you mean for 2021, Anya, or is that what you were asking?
Oh, wait, yeah, I'm not sure about that.
Yeah. Well,
will
that's
the
a
school
good question.
continue?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
we're still deciding exactly how things will flow after this first year completes. But this community, I know, is definitely not going to go away after a year. It's an incredible community that's going to be formed here. So there will definitely be ways for everybody to
Spirit will be guiding that process all along the way, for sure. And
yes.
June's asking about recordings. Absolutely, there'll be recordings every month. They'll be going up, you know, probably within the day or two of the class being live. So yep, absolutely.
Yes.
Clara, is it possible to do the chart placement accurately without the time of birth? Yeah, I guess that's just more about the one-on-one work, and I'll speak to that for a minute. You know, there's going to be a lot of opportunities to look at, to play with, to experience and embody our charts. That's a very important part of this journey together. We can do a lot of work with your birth chart without the exact birth time. But we can also do a practice called chart rectification, which is a process where we try to find the exact birth time, and we use algorithms and programs and all that. So if you join the program and we don't have a birth time, you and I will sit with that chart rectification process so that we can get as close to an accurate birth time for you as possible. Right off the bat, we're going to get you into understanding where these temples of transformation, these realms, these archetypal realms, where they live in your chart specifically. So we're going to journey into the houses and teach you about how these temples are going to be activating, you know, consistently in your life, certain realms of life experience. So it's going to be really, really juicy to explore that right off the bat. What else?
And I know you're asking to tell you more about what you saw in your meditation. This sounds really, really powerful. Two serpents strangled up together, I'm assuming. It's
We'll be
really,
going into that deep in the first class, the Ophiuchus
yeah,
class.
we're going deep into that in the first class. So it's really important though for you to discern this. So of course, if you're in the class, we can go into more about these kinds of interpretations and what this kind of imagery might mean. But for now, I welcome you to go back into the journey, listen to the music again. We'll be sending out the link to the music again. Go back in and ask your guys, what does this mean uniquely for me? Because it might be very different for you, right? Than it would be for someone else. So hopefully that's helpful.
Yeah, and the same like with Lawrence saying I had a falcon lead me, and it's just like, okay, so the first thing is like, what did you feel with that falcon's presence? So often we want to jump to, you know, reading the description on our oracle cards, right? We read it first instead of feel the imagery, feel the energy behind it, feel the colors. And this is really a great, you know, example of what we want to do with this mystery school. Is we want to invite a lot of personal experience and collective sharing, and then we want to tune into the richness of the history of the symbols, you know, and talk about Falcon and of course Horus and all of that lineage. But you know, we want to really invite, because all of the archetypes, all of the symbols, the animal allies, the totems, all of the gods and goddesses, they're being upgraded. They have new masks, new costumes that we are the ones that are vesseling that now. So
Everything is changing now.
yeah,
Within us and through us.
yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. Well, let's see, Mikey is saying, will there be a replay? Yes, absolutely. This replay will go out either later today or tomorrow morning. And yes, definitely you're welcome to share this with anyone who you think would enjoy it. We'd love for you to share it. So if there are no more questions, we want to bring you into one more journeying space before we close for today. So would you like to begin that part of the sharing about past lives?
Yeah, well, just you know, I find it so interesting. You know, a few years ago, 5 years ago or so, I asked my mom a little bit more about my time as an infant, which I think is one of the most powerful things we can talk to our parents about. I've studied rebirthing a lot, and it's something that we'll explore in the mystery school, birth trauma. But it's also something that I learned, that I was very, very much in love with the sun, and I would love to sit out in front of the sun as a baby, and you know, and I never knew that. And then, like, you know, years ago, I did some really deep past life work, which again we'll be doing some of those exercises in our first class. And I went into this extremely deep journey in the Egyptian pyramids and actually carving onto the walls. From it was, you know, either the coffin texts or something related to the Book of the Dead. and the Book of Coming Forth by Light, which is its proper name. And that in that lifetime, I felt that I was very connected as a solar priest. And and then it moved into this journey with like a certain kind of ritual and medicine ceremony, and essentially an astral projection of my consciousness through the pyramid into the star Sirius to meet my galactic family. And this was extremely powerful. And I mean, it was a past life journey. And I just knew coming out of that how deep that lineage was for me. And it's come up really strong, and we might maybe even go back there soon to actual Egypt. But anyway, the journey is about remembrance and bringing back this medicine. And for me, it just kind of confirmed why I'm on the path of the astrologer, and teaching the mysteries of the sun and the moon and the stars. And so, yeah, that's an offering here with the power of this kind of soul recovery work that we're all doing.
Yes, absolutely. And I know everyone on this call has lineages that you remember, past lives that you remember that were very powerful for you. And maybe in those lives you really felt your power, and you felt that you were a leader of your community or deeply needed in the world. And maybe in some of those lives they were very traumatic, and you were exiled from the community, or you were killed or harmed in some way. I have a shamanic journey that came through, well, a past life that came through to me in a shamanic journey about almost 2 years ago now. It was in March 2019. It was really, really deep. And in this journey, it was like I was taken by force, like very quickly, to ancient Crete. And I was shown there the streets of the ancient city of Crete, and the very, very beautifully white walls of all the buildings. They were so beautifully white with the stone that they were made from. And I was taken down this very long spiral staircase deep underground, where I then sat in sacred ceremony with a small group of people. And so we were each given this cup of medicine to drink, right? And so in this journey, in this past life remembrance, I drank the medicine, and everyone who drank the medicine would then fall backwards. But when I fell backwards, I didn't stop at the floor. I kept going back and spinning back and back and back. And when I stopped spinning and when I opened my eyes, I was standing before a priestess. And now this priestess, this is a very Scorpio journey. When this priestess saw me, she immediately cut my throat, and I started to bleed from my throat. And then she placed her hand on my throat and healed it. And she told me at that time, you are going to go out and teach the world about immortality. Now, this was extremely powerful for me. And it was a very difficult journey to come back from. I felt like I had to really try, like really struggle to get back into my body, back into the present moment, because I had gone so far away and so fast into this past life remembrance. And when I came back, though, I realized that this was not just a past life remembrance, but it was like a directive. It was like instructions for what I'm meant to be doing in this lifetime, right? And that's very much what we're doing here in the Mystery School. So just as Verdeluz and I have these past lives, these lineages that we're going to be bringing into the Mystery School to teach and to share, and as a basis and a foundation for the wisdom that we're meant to bring forward in this lifetime, each and every one of you has the same. And so I'd like to lead you in a second journey now, where you can go back and remember a past life where you were you could really feel your power as the shaman, maybe, or the witch, or the oracle, or the alchemist, or the priest, or the priestess, or the herbalist, or the midwife, right? Really tapping into the vast power that you had in this lifetime to help the community, to connect with the earth and cosmos, to connect with the unseen realms, and bring gifts into the world, and bring healing and bring magic into the world. So this is the invitation for this journey. Now I'm going to give you the music in the chat here. And I'm not going to give you much more instruction than that. So I invite you to just really go deeply into this journey. Again, let the music take you. This is another beautiful song from Celestial that's called Liberata Ecliptica. And it's really powerful for just being able to just take you into the other realms. So here is that link to that song. I'm going to put that in the chat right now. And I invite you to just go ahead and journey with this, okay? Listen to the full song. Really allow yourself to go deeply into this other life where you really feel your power as that one who can connect with the unseen realms. And when you come back, share with us in the chat. Let us know. Let us know what you saw on this journey. I'm going to share a beautiful image for you while you are traveling. And go ahead and press play and see what wants to be revealed to you now. Okay, everybody. So start making your way back to the present moment, back the way you came, you went out. Come back following the same path, just in reverse. And as you're coming back, really intend to integrate what you've received in this journey. Allow yourself to fully receive it. Allow yourself to receive and take into your heart any messages from your guides, any gifts you were given, any magical powers that you now know that you possess that you didn't know before. Really welcoming in whatever you saw. And write it down in your journal or your notebook if it's something important, so you won't forget. And welcome you all to share in the chat what you experienced on this journey. We'd love to know. Anya says, dance, moon, water, sisterhood. Beautiful, Anya. Deb says, I found myself stretching. Gorgeous music. Thank you so much. I'm here to learn. Wonderful, Deb. Deb, I know we had so much fun during the festival last week, right? So glad to see you on this call too. Thank you, Teresa. Thank you for your beautiful words here. Jordan says, I met many faces in the stardust space sky, many fluid force allies, made besties with two beasties. I love that, Jordan. Thank you for sharing. Really beautiful. And Fabiola says, flying among the stars. Wonderful. Love that, Fabiola. Yes, Lauren Rose, thank you, thank you. Brenda, beautiful music, images, and people. I'm really, really opening my heart. Oh, I'm so glad to hear that, Brenda. So glad. You know, you were very much there and fully present on the summit, on the festival too. So glad. Mark says, feeling in the body, carrying me and my mind interrupting the process. Yes, that can definitely happen, Mark. Yes, we'll be with that and come back to the journey. See if maybe at another time, maybe later today, maybe tomorrow, you'll be able to fully drop in, really experience the magic. Sarita says, I had fun dancing with many ancestors. Amazing. Kim says, I had a long, deep, honest conversation with my mom that needed to be shared, but has been silenced. And then I ran it through my body to clear the places my silence has blocked me. Powerful, powerful healing, Kim. Thank you for sharing that. Nicoletta said, I saw 2 serpent eggs in the sky universe. Beautiful. Well, that might be the cosmic egg, Nicoletta. We're definitely going to talk about that in the mystery school. Well, thank you all so much for sharing. And we're truly honored to have had the opportunity to spend this time with you today. Sending so much love and blessings out to everybody. And definitely, if you're feeling the call for the mystery school, check out the page, see if it resonates. We're going to keep this group small. It's going to be no more than 30 people in this group. So want you to know that if you're joining, you're going to get plenty of personalized attention from us in the group. So yeah, go check it out. If it resonates, join. You know, the moment in alchemy, the moment you say yes is the moment that everything begins to change. So if you're ready to say that sacred yes, go ahead. Don't hesitate. Don't wait. The mysteries are waiting.
Yeah, I want to thank everyone for your presence here today, and I'm just so excited to begin this journey. This is Astrotheology, and all of these teachings have been with me since the beginning of my work with astrology 14 years ago, and definitely from past lives. But I'm just really excited to bring it out in such a big way at this time. It feels like it's really ripe, and to be with Jocelyn on this journey, what a co-creator, collaborator. We just can't wait to teach together and offer these sacred mysteries to you. So thank you. I hope to see you in the mystery school soon.
Yes.
Namaste.
Blessings, everybody. Much love to all of you. Have a beautiful rest of your day.